Welcome back to our third part of our educational series. Today we're going to be covering Medicare Part D prescription drug plans. Generally speaking, plans cover many medications that are prescribed by your doctor or other physicians, including most drugs. So there's two types of prescription drug coverage under Part D. There is a standalone prescription drug plan that is generally used in conjunction with the Medicare supplement plans in original Medicare. So if you recall, original Medicare, you have Part A, Part B, you have your Medicare supplement, and you'll have a standalone prescription drug plan as well. The second type are those that are integrated into a Medicare Advantage plan. So those will be called MAPD or Medicare Advantage prescription drug plans. We're going to be talking about those in a later video. So stay tuned for our fourth educational video, which will cover those MAPD plans. There are, generally speaking, there's three tiers in prescription drug plans with a specialty tier that might be integrated. There are some variations of that depending on which carrier you look at. Your tier ones are going to be your low cost, preferred generic prescriptions. Many people who take statins or blood pressure medications, those are going to be the very low cost or even no cost in some instances drugs that you're going to take. Tier 2 might be a preferred brand or non-preferred generic that might be a little bit more expensive. Tier 3 are going to be your higher copayment or non-preferred brand name prescriptions. These might be drugs that you see on TV that are advertised or generally don't have a generic that are available, in which case they're going to be the highest cost sharing and most expensive medications that are available. Lastly, you have specialty tier. So these might be something that can be used for dual purposes. So for example, like your Ozempics of the world, Mounjaro, some of the GLP-1s, we see these oftentimes on a specialty tier where you might be responsible to meet your deductible first, and then you have a much lower copay when you go into a different phase of the prescription drug plans. We're going to touch on that in a minute, but I wanted to at least give you some outline of what kind of a tier system these plans generally have. Now, I will say that some plans have, different tiers. They'll have tier 4, tier 5, etc. It just depends on how they are broken up. So how do you qualify for Part D? You are eligible if you're enrolled in Medicare Part A or Part B and permanently reside in the service area of that particular prescription drug plan. So we get a lot of questions about, when can I sign up for these different plans and things. So when it comes to the Part D plans, you actually can sign up before your Part B is even active. If you just have Part A, when you're first enrolling, you can get that. Or if you've delayed, what we see quite a bit is folks who will actually enroll in Part A first, get their prescription drug plans, get that all squared away, and then once you're eligible and have been enrolled in Part B, we can do the supplement plan after that. So just talk to us and we'll be able to square that away for you. There are some people who are dual eligible who qualify for both Medicare and Medicaid. More often, those folks may enroll in a Medicare Advantage prescription drug plan that is specifically made for those dual eligible recipients. There will be a higher premium or a penalty for people who wait, 1% per month of the national average premium. So what they do, each year they look at the prescription plans in total and they get an average cost of all of the plans that are available. And that is the basis of the penalty. So for every month that you go without prescription drug coverage past a 63-day limit, so you can only go 63 days without coverage before a penalty will start racking up. Let's say that you go 12 months without the prescription drug coverage, they're going to assess a 12% penalty. And by the way, that penalty is permanent. So it's very important that you have the prescription drug coverage as part of your overall Medicare plan. Otherwise, you could be penalized. Let's talk about the three phases. This is the mandatory structure that Medicare puts out, and all prescription drug carriers have to abide by this. You have three phases that's mandated for all of these prescription drug plans. Phase 1 is your deductible phase, so you pay dollar for dollar the first $615 of any retail cost of that prescription based upon the pharmacy that you get that prescription filled at. So if you're on just tier 1 preferred generic drugs, it's likely that you'll never even hit that deductible, but If you are on some of the lower tiers like tier 3, tier 4, or even a specialty tier, you're going to incur that deductible rather quickly. So you might be on the hook for that $615 first, but the good news is it gets a little bit better as you go through that deductible phase. When you get to phase 2, that is your initial coverage phase, where you'll pay 25% of the retail cost of the drug or an agreed upon amount, depending on which tier that your drugs are on. Overall, once your total out of pocket, or true out of pocket as it's called, reaches $2,100, then you reach the catastrophic limit. So just to give you some context on that, that $2,100 catastrophic limit includes the deductible that you've paid plus those co-pays in that initial coverage phase. Once you reach that, as long as all of your drugs are on a tier of your plan, that's very important. If they're off a tier, you're going to pay the full retail cost, okay? As long as they're on the tier, $2,100 is the maximum that you're going to pay for your drugs. Once you reach that, you pay nothing. But like I said, very important to note, again, that if your drugs are not on the formulary of your plan, you will pay the full retail cost of those drugs. I thought it might be helpful to describe the mandates that Medicare puts out to these prescription drug plan carriers. They also dictate that each plan must have two drugs, at least two drugs, in every single therapeutic category that exists. So no matter what ailment you may have, there will be some form of prescription drug therapy available to you on your plan. Now, it's up to your carrier to determine which drugs are going to be placed on that formulary list. So each year these change as new brand names come out, as new generics to those brand names come out. Your prescription drug plan is going to have a reset each year during the annual enrollment period, and they're going to allow for a new formulary to come through, and they're going to have a repricing of the plans most likely, and you can change these plans each year during that annual enrollment period. So if you have any questions on that, you can always reach out to us and we'll be able to help guide you through it. Let's talk about, for folks who might have some financial difficulties and need financial assistance in paying for their prescriptions. There is low income subsidy or Medicaid for individuals with a limited amount of income or resources to help pay for your prescriptions. And you may also qualify for extra help with Part D, also based upon your income. Lastly, the State Pharmaceutical Assistance Program, or SPAP, also may be available in your state. You can look into that with a simple Google search. So just like Part B IRMA adjustments, there are also Part D IRMA adjustments as well. And so based upon your income, you may get assessed an additional IRMA amount. So it's the same brackets as Part B. So if you're individually filing your taxes or filing jointly, you can look at the corresponding applicable bracket for your MAGI. Remember, that's modified adjusted gross income. That is what they are looking at. So these are the premiums plus the IRMA adjustments here. So depending on which bracket you're in, you could have up to an extra $91 per month adjustment. Most folks are going to be in this lower bracket down here, but we can also help guide you and help you determine which bracket you may be in. Ultimately, when you enroll, they're going to tell you which bracket that you're in, and you can always appeal that, same as with Part B. We'd be able to help you out and guide you through that appeal process as well. If you have any questions about Part D of Medicare, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're here to help you every step of the way. Thanks so much.